Hey guys, take a look at this gnarly looking dino ribs I cooked on the Recteq RT-700. My first pellet grill. So I bought a 3.7 pound rack of short ribs, dino ribs. Nice and meaty on one side. The other side is actually covered with some fat cap, which made it a little hesitant for myself to trim all the way, which I should have, because at the end you'll see that there's still a lot of fat that was still left over. Did my best with trimming. I'm using mustard as a binder, as I usually do, because it gets the job done nice and easy. Personally, not a fan of mustard as a condiment, but for smoking purposes, I always like to use it. Made my own salt, pepper, garlic rub, and paprika. Nice and simple. Try to do my best with spreading it evenly. All over. Here you go. Take a look at that. Nice and pretty. I thought about maybe adding a second coating of a pre-made rub also, but I didn't. Maybe I should have, just for sweetness purposes or whatnot. So here's the RT-700 I got from my friend Mike off Facebook Marketplace. I put it in super smoke mode, which is at 180 degrees. Thought that I'd give it a try to do my best with testing it out with the smoking. Here you go. So I laid it on the second rack. The rest has some insight online that said that it might be best there versus any other location. But who the heck knows? It's the first time using this pellet grill. Just use one temperature probe. It's nice to see that the Recteq came with two different ports. So going into this, I was pretty hesitant, and I still kind of am afterwards about how much smoke flavor this Recteq was actually going to give me, considering my 10 or 11 other grills that I have are all pretty much charcoal based, and I love the flavor and smell of charcoal and wood burning. This was a few hours into it. I had left it at 180 degrees for maybe 2-3 hours, and then up to 250 degrees ambient temperature. This was probably just some half apple juice and water solution that I sprayed. Definitely was getting the color that I wanted. Here you go. This has to be at least 6 hours into it. Getting a little darker color, bark. Looking pretty. Pretty much trying to push it to see how much potential jiggle or whatever. I just want to make sure it wasn't drying out too much. So this tub of beef tallow is something that I've been using for my last couple dino ribs I made with my Weber Smoky Mountain and I think Big Green Egg in the past too. Just did my part of using like an ice cream scoop type of thing to wrap it tightly on top and side. So here's the finished product. after another 2-3 hours in the smoker until it hit about 205 internal. Bark's looking nice. Pouring in whatever beef tallow is in there on top. See, I now already noticed some of that fat that I just decided not to trim off earlier. It was definitely fat heavy on one side. Pouring a little extra beef tallow on top. One for looks, and secondly for the sake of keeping some of that meat from drying up when I'm slicing it. You'll see in a few. Here's the first slice. So I was very surprised about the smoke ring. I wasn't really too sure about how much smoke ring I was going to get. I have read online that even though, you know, you might be able to get a big smoke ring, it might not exactly mean that you get that smoky flavor. And I did see that was kind of the case with this one, but it's not like I didn't get any smoke flavor at all. I mean, overall, I give it about a 7 out of 10 in terms of the results. It's looking kind of nice. That's still, you know, obviously you can see some of that fat on top. Yes, you can just trim it off afterwards anyways. That looks crazy. Now that looks kind of gnarly right there. That actually is one of the best pieces of this actual rack that I made. Here we go again. This piece had about 4 different layers, like overlapping layers of just tenderness and goodness right here. It looks crazy, but boy, this one was the best piece of all of them. So I give this smoke session maybe like a 7.3 out of 10. Next time I want to go for extra smoke flavor. I did end up buying a couple smoke tubes so I can put some wood pellets and chips inside and burn them. Check out my next few videos. Appreciate it. Follow my page. See you guys.